All right, so today we're jumping into this incredible ancient story. It's got everything: an unstoppable force, kind of spiritual hired gun, and a mission that just goes completely off the rails. Or maybe completely on the rails, depending on how you look at it.
I mean, seriously, let's just set the stage here, because the setup is pure Hollywood. You've got this desperate king, a prophet who's basically for hire, and a curse that just went wrong. We're talking about a kingdom on the very brink of collapse, a leader who's just totally backed into a corner, and a specialist, right? A guy who's brought in for one very specific job.
So this really brings us to the big question, the one that hangs over this entire story. Can a powerful curse actually be stopped? I mean, when you've got this incredible force of negativity, of ill will, just hurtling forward, is there anything at all that can get in its way? Well, let's find out. Okay, so our story kicks off with the king's desperate plan. And you have to understand, this isn't just your normal political stress. We're talking about a leader driven by pure, raw fear. This is that deep, gut-wrenching dread, you know? The kind of fear you have for the survival of your people, your whole nation. So, let's meet this king. His name is Balak.
For King Balak, the stakes are just as high as they get. He's not worried about losing a bit of territory or a single battle. No. He's looking at the complete and total annihilation of his kingdom, his people, everything. And when he looks out, what he sees is this massive group of people, the Israelites, and they're just covering the land. The description is like locusts. So from where he's standing, this threat feels absolute. It feels completely overwhelming.
So what do, right? You're a king. You've got this threat you can't possibly fight with your army, with swords and shields. What's your move? Well, you go looking for a different kind of weapon. You find a specialist for a spiritual problem.
And that's where this guy, Balaam, comes in. He's the prophet for hire. Honestly, the best way to think about him is like a spiritual contractor. You know, a specialist with a very particular set of skills. His reputation is huge. People believe that his words can literally shape reality. He can bless or he can destroy. And you better believe King Balak is ready to write a very, very big check for destruction.
But, and this is a huge but, here's the twist. The specialist, the hired gun, comes with a pretty big catch. Balaam says right up front, look, I'm not totally in the driver's seat here. He says, and this is the quote, I can only speak what God puts in my mouth. Wow, that one line, that one condition changes everything. It's like the ultimate fine print, right? And it just injects this massive dose of suspense into the whole situation. You just know things are about to get complicated for the king.
So, the king's got his man. The money has probably changed hands. He's set the stage perfectly for this nation-destroying curse. Everything is in place. It's all supposed to go according to plan. But his carefully laid plan is about to completely fall apart. It's gonna unravel in the most spectacular way.
So they give it a shot. Attempt number 1, they go up to a mountain overlook. Balaam opens his mouth to speak this curse, and a blessing comes out. Total shock. Okay, maybe it's the location, right? So Balak moves him to a new spot for the second attempt. Same result. Another blessing. By this point, the king is getting seriously frustrated. So for the final attempt, they go to another mountain, Mount Peor, one last desperate try to get the curse he paid for. And he just can't get it. The curse will not work.
And this is the turning point. This is where the whole thing just shatters. The king's plan doesn't just fail, it does a complete 180. The very weapon he hired to destroy his enemies becomes a tool that builds them up. It's an unexpected blessing. I mean, you can just hear the king's rage boiling over. He says, I summoned you to curse my enemies, and you have blessed them 3 times. Can you imagine? You hire the top guy in the field for one job, and he does the exact opposite. Not once, but 3 times. The king's frustration is just off the charts.
And then you get this incredible contrast. While the king is absolutely losing his mind, what's coming out of Balaam's mouth? Words like this, how beautiful are your tents, Jacob, your dwellings, Israel. It's poetry. It's beautiful. Instead of destruction and ruin, it's this powerful blessing of stability and life, spoken over the very people he was supposed to curse.
Okay, so we've seen what happened. But the real meat of the story, the most important part, is why. Why did this happen? Why did this big, powerful, expensive curse fail so spectacularly? The answer is everything. It's about a love that is stronger than any curse.
So, yeah, why did the curse fail? Right? That's the question. Was Balaam a fraud? Was he just not as powerful as they thought? Was the king's strategy just bad? Or was something else going on here? Some other force at play that nobody saw coming?
Well, here's the thing. The reason, it wasn't about the power of the prophet. It had nothing to do with Balaam's skill level or King Balak's plan. The outcome was decided by something completely outside their control, something neither of them factored into the equation.
And here it is. The whole thing comes down to one line. Because the Lord your God loved you. That's it. That's the reason. The curse failed not because of some magic counterspell or a better prophet, but because of a protective force, a relationship that was already in place. It's described simply as love.
So let's just recap the big takeaways here. First, a curse, a literal weaponized curse, got turned into a blessing. Second, an enemy's powerful, well-funded plan was made totally useless. And the reason for all of it? A love that was so powerful it acted like a shield, like a fortress, that just made the attack completely bounce off.
And that kind of leaves us with this one last big thought to chew on. What does it mean for a blessing to be unconditional? I mean, think about it. The story suggests that people being targeted, they didn't do anything to earn this protection. They might not have even known it was happening. It was just there. So it really makes you think, what does it mean for a protective force, a blessing, to be totally unconditional, to work completely outside of what we do or what we deserve or even what we know? That is a really powerful idea to sit with.